Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, I bring to you the ultimate Hog Earthquake guide where I'll be showing you how to beat every matchup in Clash Royale. I think Hog Earthquake might be one of the safest decks in the game to max out. The thing is, guys, there's a lot of safe decks in Clash Royale, like for example 2.6 and other things like that, but Hog Earthquake is always consistently a deck that can be played at top ladder, whereas 2.6 is just good, but it's never really one of the very best decks like Hog Earthquake tends to be. And guys, make sure to like this video if you enjoy the guide and you want to see more. Also comment down below what guides you want to see me make next, what decks I should cover next with these guides, and also make sure to save this to your watch later for future reference if you want to come back to it and check out some matchups you might start struggling with when you try out this deck. If you don't already play it, that is. Looks like we're facing Pekka Goblin Giant right here. This deck is pretty much the most popular in the game right now, so you guys will probably face this matchup quite a bit. It can get a little bit tricky, but I feel like the Goblinstein is so good in this matchup. The main reason I prefer Goblinstein right now over Mighty Miner is simply because it does a lot better against this sort of matchup. You guys can't always play Mighty Miner over Stein if you don't have it leveled up. Even a Knight over Stein could work, but I feel like Goblinstein is just such a key component right now of this deck. There will be some nerfs pretty soon though, so hopefully the Pekka Goblin Giant decks will start to be toned down a little bit. So guys, when they go for a Pekka in the back or a Goblin Giant in the back, you always want to cycle your Firecracker first. That way you can get back to another Firecracker as quickly as possible, because they do have arrows, so they're always going to be able to kill your Firecracker if you don't out-cycle them, that is. So yeah, you'll see this as kind of a common theme, guys. You pretty much always want to cycle your Firecracker first when you're facing a beatdown deck similar to the one we're facing right now. So yeah, I think we should be chilling right here. We do have our Evo Skellies, but I think that might die. Wow. That actually just got a hit. Okay. Man, I really thought that would die, guys. I just sometimes get trolled by the new chef interactions when it levels up a card randomly. This could be a very nice push here, though. I don't really like to play this Stein on offense much, but since we have our Evo Skellies, and also as Pekka is out of cycle, I don't know how he stops this. Yeah, Fisherman's gonna only pull that, but then Hog is just gonna go kind of ham. Guys, one thing I will warn you about is that when you're playing this type of deck, don't be too aggressive with your Goblinstein. The majority of the time, Goblinstein is a defensive card or a card that you can kind of counter push with. You don't want to play it at the bridge most of the time, unless you know your opponent is in a bad cycle like we just did right there. I'm going to go for my Evo Skellies here too. He's going to have to do something about them. He's going to have to, yeah, spell them down. That's good. It's better for him to waste his rage effect there instead of going for it with a Goblin Giant and getting that Goblin Giant boosted up and stuff, so I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Firecrackers should go back here to the Pekka, so I think we're chilling. We can just go for the Stein like this. This is pretty much how you always set up your defenses. You get your cannon down, you get your Stein down, get some Firecrackers down. This Goblin Giant might get a tad bit of damage, but I think we should be pretty much chilling right here. Also, guys, Hog is a little bit better against Fisherman now ever since it got the... Well, ever since Fisherman got that little bit of a nerf to its slowing effect, so... Yeah, it's not quite as hard to break through. You don't always have to support your Hog too much. You just sometimes want to get like an Ice Spirit or Skeletons down to kind of distract the Fisherman. Nice, we get a Hog hit there, perfect. Yeah, that's why it's always so good to go for those cheap cards with your Hog Riders, kind of just distracting those Fishermans. He does get the double arrows value, but it's all good. I feel like our Firecracker would have died either way. That first one anyways. I'm going to go for the Goblinstein Hog here, just because his tower is so low HP, kind of has to overcommit. Oh, the Evo Skeletons! Guys, the Evo Skeletons are so good in this deck, man. That's why I like them over Ice Spirit. Let's go. Okay, we found a match up against Hector. By the way, guys, I know a lot of you might be kind of worried. Oh, beautiful prediction. I know a lot of you guys might be kind of worried that Goblinstein will be getting a nerf to its HP, but honestly, I don't think the HP of the monster is really going to do too much. So yeah, this deck should remain fine, even if it does suffer a lot. We obviously can always play the Mighty Miner or something like that, so Hog EQ should be fine. I'm just going to go for my Ice Titan right here to counter this and then just Hog Rider with my Goblinstein. Beautiful Ice Spirit, guys. You can fully counter Skeleton Barrels with any Spirit if you play it perfectly. Except Electro Spirit, actually. Beautiful damage right there. This guy actually has a Mega Knight deck. Probably just that Mega Knight Miner spam deck. I'm going to just go for the King Tower activation. We're going to get to our Stein so we can actually stop this Inferno Dragon. He does have arrows, though. Okay, that's not a good sign, but beautiful King activation, guys. When you're facing any Mega Knight deck, you always want to go for that King activation if possible. But just be aware that sometimes they can punish you for it. Like, if I didn't have my Stein, that Inferno Dragon could have just taken my tower, so make sure you don't overcommit in a way. Like, you don't overcommit to get your King Tower up. You don't want to spend so much that you just get wrecked by something. Like, oftentimes they'll bats behind the Mega Knight, and you have to waste your Ice Spirit on that instead of getting your King up. But yeah, you can always get your King up using Ice Spirit Skeletons, Firecracker, Ice Spirit, Firecracker Skeletons, or a Cannon plus any of those other 3 cards. So yeah, just know that you have ways to get your King up here. Evo Mega Knight is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we do have our Evo Skeletons. I don't think he's ready for them here, so this could be really good. He does have... I don't know why he has Goblin Drill, honestly. Against Goblin Drill, guys, I would say the best tip I could give you is that... I mean, there's so many different drill decks, so I'm not sure if you guys are going to be facing this drill deck or some other drill deck, but the best tip I could give you guys is that you want to always switch up your defense against it. Like, you could fully counter drill using Skeletons log, right? Like, you could play your Skeletons first and then log to fully counter it, or you could log first and then Skeletons after to still fully counter it. So keep that in mind, that you can always switch up the way you counter it so you don't get predicted by spells, because if you play your Skeletons first every time, they can just like prediction log, prediction arrows, prediction fireball or poison, you know what I mean? We're doing really good right here. This guy just, I feel like, stands no chance since we have our king up. These drills are not too hard to counter, yeah, because, you know, just our king is helping. That's really all there is to it. Ooh, okay. He got some damage, but I think we're still fine here. We can just go for the Earthquake to fully take out the tower. You guys gotta memorize your spell damage, but it feels like the spell damage changes so often just because of balance changes and, you know, like new levels to the game and stuff like that. Ever since level 15, I kind of just gave up trying to always fully calculate spell damages, but I know most of the stuff roughly. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next match. We're up against a dinosaur. By the way, guys, we have no face cam in this video just because it's going to be a super long video to record. I'm probably going to record this over the course of a few days, so yeah, that's why. This guy actually does have the Sparky, okay. Sparky can be an interesting matchup. It can go like really good sometimes if you get good firecrackers, but sometimes it goes so bad because usually they'll have a Goblin Giant with the Sparky, which can just snipe the firecrackers so easily. Yeah, what I'm going to do here is Goblinstein. You kind of have to, guys, because you just have to make sure that Goblin Giant doesn't get those Spear Goblins to kill your Firecracker. This ability should do a pretty good job here against everything, hitting the Sparky, hitting the Goblin Giant. Firecracker is still doing absolute work right here. He finally kills it, though. I'll just cannon for good measure. We have the Skeletons as well. Always got to be careful of those baseball tinies, to be honest. Not a bad start. But yeah, guys, usually what I do for defense is that I Firecracker early against Goblin Giant or a Sparky when they play either of those in the back. And then what I'll do is I'll usually get a distraction card for the Sparky to avoid that first Sparky big blast. And then after that, I'll just get my Stein down, and then pretty much you can ability from there or cannon, something like that. Whatever the situation calls for. Sometimes they do have arrows too, so you have to be careful about that. You have to realize that they could just pull that out at any moment. It can be a little bit tough to get damage sometimes, because if you get stuck going same lane, you just can't push into a Sparky. This guy is trying to go on the left side for some reason. I don't really know why. I mean, I guess I do know why, because if they go same lane, sometimes you just start to Earthquake, Cycle, and Log Cycle their Sparkies down, but I feel like he should be going same lane here. I'm going to set up with the cannon early. You guys can sometimes play those early cannons instead of just wasting your cards weirdly, because, you know, if I play my Goblinstein early or something like that, it would just kind of feed value to the Sparky, so yeah, that cannon was actually perfect. Evo Skellies do not chain. Man, that could have been so good right there. I'm going to Firecracker, then we can just get our Ice Spirit up high. Probably going to have to log as well or something. And actually, that's dead. Okay. I'm just going to Goblinstein right here. He's probably going to Sparky, I would assume, but we'll see about that. Yeah, see, guys, you have to have some patience with your Hog Riders. I could have played my Hog right there, but, you know, gotta be careful. Gotta have a little bit of patience and know when to actually go in. Alright, I'll go for the Firecracker early here in the back. I mean, you guys can see, like, as long as you don't let your Firecrackers die to the Goblin Giant Spear Goblins, you're pretty much always going to be fine on defense. So, you know, one thing, guys, is that you do want to cycle your Firecracker early in this matchup, but you have to be careful to not play it too early, because if you play it too early, then they just are able to kill it with the Goblin Giant, even if you try to protect it, but you just have to kind of find a right balance, which does take a little bit of time. We're actually not up much damage anymore, unfortunately. Hog should get some very nice damage. Will Firecracker go for the E-Wiz? No, it goes for the tower. Okay, I'm going to Skeletons here. We just need a Earthquake and a Log at this point. Wow, that was actually very easy. Easier than I expected. Yeah, just pretty much a Firecracker carry. I didn't mention it yet, but my favorite starting play with this deck is, of course, just the Hog Rider first play. If you think your opponent might have Tornado or something, you can always pair that with Skeletons, but yeah, that's pretty much all I do with this deck. I always will, you know, cycle my Logs, my Ice Spirit Skeletons pretty freely if I have no Hog in cycle. You can also play your Earthquake. Usually I don't Firecracker first play just because in some matchups you could get punished pretty badly if you let them get their King Tower up pretty early. Okay, he does have Lava Hound. So against Lava Hound, you play with your Firecrackers very early, so, you know, for example, a lot of the time people try to pressure with a Hog when someone Lava Hounds, but what I always do is I play my Firecracker first and then Hog after. That way I get to another Firecracker as soon as possible. And there are a few other tricks you can do. You can always go for double cannons to get your king up off a balloon. You have Goblin for good defense. I'm just going to go for a really far cannon here. The balloon actually might potentially go to the left side. Yeah, that's on the left side. Okay. Honestly, this matchup isn't bad at all since we have Goblin. Even though we have no Tesla in this deck, the Goblin is really what helps out so much. See, if we had Mighty Miner right now, we'd really struggle. We'd just have a very bad matchup, but I think we're going to have a pretty okay time here. Pretty much even in damage now, but you can see this counter push will probably get some very nice damage here. Yeah, I'll take it. And guys, another really cool trick that a lot of people know, but a lot of people don't really do too often, is that when your opponent goes for a Lava Hound and an early balloon, if they play their balloon too early, you could actually sometimes just play your cannon at the bridge. And then what that will do is that the Lava Hound has a longer range than a balloon, so the balloon will go in front of their Lava Hound. That's a very good play to do. In certain situations, you don't always want to do it, but it's a nice little trick to know to get yourself out of a tough situation. But yeah, honestly, as long as you're spamming the firecrackers in this matchup, you're not really going to have too much trouble. Sometimes they have fireballs, sometimes they have arrows. You have to be ready for both. You play pretty much the same way against both, except when they have arrows, you really have to spam your firecrackers even more often than when they have fireball. This guy is fireball, so it's not going to be as good for him, I guess, because he's not going to get that good of an elixir trade against our firecrackers. I mean, it's a -1 for him every time, but yeah. You also have to be careful of their Evo Zap, guys. You have to kind of keep track of when they have it in cycle, so you know, yeah, like, he could kill my firecracker here, but we get double cannons down. We should get our king tower up. Wait, guys, I literally might get 3-crowned right now. I'm gonna go for the Stein right here. Wait, I genuinely might... Tell me that doesn't 3-crown me. Oh, we missed a guard there with the firecracker. Oh my gosh, I think this is gonna be a 2-tower game, guys. This is not good at all. This is not good. I feel like Chef makes this matchup so much harder. It used to be so easy without Chef, but with Chef, that's literally what's carrying him right now. Wait, hold up. I think we actually can defend right here if we go for a firecracker. Wait, I think we defended. Yeah, fireball won't do enough. Okay, we actually won the game somehow. I thought I would get 3-crown there. We're up against a Cannoneer deck right now. When I'm facing Cannoneer, I like to abuse the skeletons mostly just to get a couple hits baited out by them, and then my Hog usually gets a lot more value. He does have Snowball and Bats. I'm pretty sure this guy's a Giant Graveyard player. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the #1 Giant Graveyard player that we're facing right now. Okay. He is the Archer Queen here. I mean, when you see the Archer Queen in the back, you pretty much just always want to go for your Stein into it. You could sometimes get a Firecracker off or something like that, too. We kind of have to figure out what variation he has here first, before anything. You have to figure out whether they have, like, a Witch or a Night Witch or anything else like that. I feel like they run really random variations these days, these Giant Graveyard players. Giant Graveyard isn't really that popular anymore, so I know a lot of people probably also ask how can you beat, you know, the other graveyard decks like Graveyard Freeze or, you know, Splash Shard with like the poison and stuff. Against that type of matchup, I mean, what it really comes down to is using good defensive Earthquakes, you know, getting good Firecrackers, trying to avoid giving them too much poison value on the Firecrackers by going with your Firecrackers mostly in the opposite lane or sometimes a little bit up high. You have to be careful though, because they can always barbell your Firecracker if you go for it too high. Oh man, I think my Evo Skelly will die here. Man, that could have been so good if the Ice Spirit was actually tanking. But yeah, that's pretty much how you play against the classic Splash Shard variation. You can also kind of pressure opposite lane using your Goblin Stein. The main thing is that you just want to go opposite lane against pretty much all of the graveyard decks, if possible. Obviously, if you get a lot of damage on one side, you can't really switch lanes at that point, but yeah, you guys get my point. We do get a Hog hit, that's very nice. Sometimes if they play their guards too early, you just get no damage at all. I'm kind of surprised to see the Goblin Demolisher out of this guy. It is a little bit better than it was a while ago, though, so we'll see if it does too much here today or not. We do counter that perfectly. See, that's why Cannon is so good in this deck. That's why I don't like Tesla. If we had a Tesla, it would have been one more Elixir and would have done the exact same thing. So, yeah, it's really nice to have Cannon. And also, we can still beat Lava Hound even having Cannon. I'm going to go for the Hog right here. You guys don't always want to do this, but this is just the perfect timing for us right now. A lot of the time, guys, something that I'll do that I think a lot of people who watch me don't notice is that I'll kind of predict my opponents, but more subtly. Like, you see, for example, a pro player like Riley, he'll always predict his opponents, and it'll be, like, so obvious. Like, he'll be saying, like, oh, he has this elixir, he has that elixir. But for me, I predict a lot more subtly. Like, for example, I'll go for a Hog Rider right as my opponent goes for their big tank in the back, or, like, right as they go for an Archer Queen in the back, for example. Like, you guys have to kind of do that if you want to maximize your Hog gameplay. It's a thing that a lot of the top pros do, but I feel like a lot of casual players don't really pick up on. Unfortunately, we're in kind of a bad spot right now. Evo Bats kind of wrecked me. We just have to go all in here and hope to get some damage. Obviously, when you're down a lot of damage, you're going to have to be more aggressive, because if you play passive and normal, you're just going to basically guaranteed lose. So, yeah, we have to be a little bit aggressive. We got some good damage, actually, already. I'm going to also try to go for the Evo Firecracker. This is not a bad play at all, actually. Yeah, look, we get free damage, and we force out his ability, and the queen is pretty much dead. That's perfect. I knew he wouldn't expect that. We could go for the Stein here, then just get our Evo Skellies off so he can't graveyard right away. Or if he does, he's going to suffer a bit. Okay, he wasted the arrows. So yeah, we're in a pretty good spot right now. We can just go for the Hog Ice Spirit, get a Firecracker off for guards maybe or something. Nice! Beautiful prediction right there. Unfortunately, Firecracker didn't kill all of the guards, but now it does. No damage, though. Well, I mean, Firecracker got some damage, at least. Okay, we're in a really good spot now. Also going opposite lane is definitely ideal. We'll see what he does here. Yeah, okay, I knew I should not Firecracker. Good thing I didn't. We could go for it now, though. He's probably going to predict it. Okay, he does. Yeah, it was kind of obvious. But hopefully we could still get away with this. Honestly, my Earthquake maybe was not the best. But we're already back to another Earthquake, so we can just go for it here on defense. You guys can see I'm always making sure to have my Earthquake ready. When I play my... Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Okay, wait. I think I almost just threw, but I feel like we could still win here, maybe? We just need one more Earthquake. But yeah, guys, whenever I cycle my Earthquake on offense, I always make sure to have it back in cycle by the time my opponent goes for another graveyard. Oh, no. Please, please, please. Okay. Good game. We're up against an Onion. Again, another Cannoneer deck right here. I'm just going to Hog Rider. See what he's up to. I mean, it's usually Mortar when you see Cannoneer. But this guy has a Dark Goblin and a Tombstone. I have no idea what the heck this is. This might be some sort of off-meta menace right here. Guys, I might have actually met my match here, man. I can always guess my opponent's decks usually, but I might actually be stumped on this one. I mean, what? Dark Goblin Bats, Tombstone? What the heck could that be? I don't even know. Dude, I don't even know. I really don't know. I'm just gonna go for another Hog here, try to bait out some of his cards. Ooh, a Night Witch. What the heck? Wait, guys, hold up. It might be Elixir Golem. Or could it even be Golem? Maybe, I'm gonna say maybe Elixir Golem right here. Okay, well, we're gonna have to be very careful with the cards we cycle. Unfortunately, we kind of just have to Earthquake. It's not really the best play to Earthquake, guys, but I usually prefer to Earthquake nothing over to cycle my Firecracker on nothing. It depends on the matchup, of course, but given that this guy probably has a beatdown deck, I just don't want to take chances. We do get a Hog hit there at 1 HP. Let's go. Oh, it is Golem. Okay. Well, I kind of guessed it. I'm going to Firecracker early. You guys can see, like, cycling the Firecracker early kind of applies to all the beatdown decks, not just Lava Hound and stuff like that. And if I had a Hog here, I probably would Hog on the left side, but we don't, so we just have to focus on defending. Nice, beautiful block there. If you guys cycle your Firecracker really early, you kind of have to be ready to block something like a Bomber, or if your opponent has a Dark Goblin, be ready for that, I guess. Evo Firecracker should kill this stuff here. Ooh, one bat is going to nibble a little bit too much on my tower, I would say. You know, I'm so confused why the heck this man is running Dark Goblin with Golem, but I guess it's okay. Oh, man. Oh, nice, the Firecracker stays alive. Unintentional lightning block. Let's go. This might take most of the tower, actually, if not all of it. Wait, hold up, one more. We just take the whole tower. Okay. We probably just have to defend one more huge Golem push right now. Okay. If we defend this push here, we win for sure. But it's going to be interesting. He has lightning for the cannon and the Goblin Stein, and also arrows for the Firecracker. But you guys can see, sometimes it really doesn't matter. If you cycle fast enough, even if your opponent has all the counters to you, they still sometimes can't break through just because your cycle is so much faster than their cycle is. Evo Bats do get pulled by the Stein, so we can just ability to kill all of them. Guys, don't forget to use your Stein abilities. I notice sometimes people will just forget to play the Stein abilities. I used to do that too. Maybe once in a while I still do. Okay, Dark Goblin just yeeted my log away. Anyways, that's game over. I'll see you guys in the next match. We're in the next one, up against a Nova player. Man, I remember Nova used to be the top clan in Clash Royale. I don't even know exactly what happened to it. I think it just got kind of disbanded or something like that. Okay, so we're facing LogBait here. I feel like people love to assume that Hog EQ just hard counters LogBait, but that is not true, guys. That is not. Okay, Ice Spirit kind of just missed everything, honestly. Luckily, his cycle's kind of bad now, so Hog should get some damage back, hopefully. But guys, just keep in mind, literally nothing in this game counters LogBait anymore. Pretty much nothing in this game. Like, it's gotten to the point where LogBait can even beat Royal Hog's Earthquake with delivery and log. They can still beat that just because of how broken Evo Barrel is. Like, yes, you can go for like a log on one side, delivery on the other side, but That's 5 Elixir for 3, and then you don't have that for their Goblin Gang, their Dark Goblin, their Princess, so yeah, nothing counters this deck, really, but our deck has a good chance compared to most other decks in the game, I will say. And by the way, guys, Evo Skeletons does still fully counter Goblin Barrel if you play it quickly in the back, even after the nerf, so that's still a pretty nice interaction. This is not the best for us right here. Hopefully our Firecracker does a good job. He does go for the Evo Barrel. You guys always have to keep track of when they have the Evo Barrel in cycle. I mean, not much we could really do except to take this bit of damage here, but it's okay. As long as you don't take too much damage at the start, you don't have to be too concerned, because when you face most of the LogBait variations that are meta these days, they usually don't have a rocket in them. If they have rocket, you have to be a little bit more careful in single elixir, but if they don't, you can just sometimes sacrifice a tiny bit of damage in order to just not take a lot more. Hog might get a hit here. Beautiful. I'll Goblinstein the bridge. His cycle has to be kind of awkward right now, I feel like. Oh, I have to log this. Man, that filthy Ice Spirit. I wanted to go for my skeletons, but I feel like that would have gotten too much damage. I have to go for the late ability. Honestly, kind of a bad Goblinstein. I just didn't really think he'd go for that Ice Spirit there. But we are up in damage, which is ideal. Nice, beautiful reaction timing. You guys can react to a princess at the bridge if you're insanely quick, but it's pretty rare that it happens. Also, I heard sometimes it depends what country you're from. I heard like people from some countries can't react to it based on like their ping or something like that. I'm not even sure, but if you're from the USA, you should be able to, at least. Maybe some other countries too. I'm gonna go for the Prediction Earthquake here on the cannon. Okay, we do force him to go for that up high. We're pretty much chilling right now. You just have to always be ready for the Evo barrels. That's really all there is to it, and you have to make sure you don't overcommit with the Goblin Steins, because honestly, Dark Goblin is kind of wrecking our Steins here, but sometimes you can just ability to kill it. I am gonna try. Okay, it just weaved. Bro, it just weaved like a little weaver. Guys, that Dark Goblin really just weaved like a little weaver. I'm gonna go for the log up high here. Beautiful play with the log, but we're still gonna take a lot of damage. Okay, yeah, these Evo barrels are really tough to defend. I have to Earthquake this. But guys, sometimes if you get in a bit of a pickle, you can always go for your log up high to hit 2 of the goblins and the bridge princess that you know they're gonna play. I have to log that. I think I was a little bit slow on my skeletons. Also, guys, one very annoying thing about this matchup is that sometimes they'll go for the barrel in the front of your tower if they think you're gonna Evo skeletons, so just be ready that they could do that. The really annoying part about it is that people always say, like, oh, why don't you just, like, see where the barrel is? Well, the thing is you have to play your Evo Skeletons relatively quickly for it to fully counter the barrel, and if you wait too long to see where the barrel is going, then you just are not going to be able to counter it properly, so that's more so just a mind game than anything, I guess. I mean, maybe some people out there could kind of somehow react quickly enough. I'm going to Goblinstein the corner. We're not looking too good right now, but I'm not going to count myself out yet. Also, guys, you can kind of start to cycle your logs on their Dark Goblins and stuff like that at some point in the match once you have like your Stein down and things like that. The reason why is because you get that 3-card cycle, so if you cycle a log, you're gonna just get back to it really quickly, and you also have Evo Skeletons and stuff to counter the barrels sometimes. We need some hog hits here, honestly. I think there's no chance for us to Earthquake cycle. Wow, that actually got a hit there somehow. I don't know how that got a hit. It's really hard to break through the cannon, just because he has his King Tower up here. Even though we have Earthquake, it's so hard to break through at this point. Luckily, Dark Goblin is distracted a bit, but our push is dead here. This is honestly not looking too good for us. Evo Skellies will counter 2 of the 3 goblins. Okay, not too bad, I will say. I'm gonna Firecracker like so, and then just go for a hog as well. Let's get an Earthquake off too. We have our 3-card cycle going, so we might as well spam as many hogs as possible. I'll Skeletons this side, go for the log on this side. Skeletons pretty much fully counter the fake barrel these days, so yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if it's tanked for it, they'll pretty much fully counter it. Not quite, but maybe if you play them quickly enough, they could. I think we should win this. Nice, we get the hog on the tower. Let's go for another hog. Let's get an Earthquake off too. We just have our log ready for the barrel. It feels so good to beat these annoying log bait decks, these ever so toxic log bait decks. Okay, it's Wa. This guy is normally a graveyard player. I'm just gonna cycle my Ice Spirit right here. Oh, he actually has bats. Okay. Bats and Spear Goblins. Okay, it's either a Mortar or a Minor Wall Breakers deck. Okay, it's Minor Wall Breakers. These bats will be a little bit pesky right here. Hopefully our left side tower takes them out. Okay, perfect. We have absolutely nothing right now. I think we might have just got... I don't know if it's starting hand or what just happened, but yeah. We're just gonna lose most of our tower. Firecracker's not killing these bats. That is a terrible start. Okay. Well, we're already kind of dead before we even have the chance to get into it. He's gonna get a free king activation too. Man, that is so annoying. I'll have to watch back the replay, but I feel like I kind of just got starting handed right there, unfortunately. We could still try to come back, though. In this matchup, you always want to go opposite lane. The reason why is because they always have poison for your firecracker, so you kind of have to go in the opposite lane to actually get some value out of that and actually build up your pushes with it. We do get a hog hit, at least, on the bright side. When I'm facing spear goblins, you always want one spear goblin hit the tower so your ice spirit can actually jump on the other two. There's probably some certain ice spirit placement you can go with to where it jumps on the same way that it can jump onto a dark goblin, but it's a little bit hard to do in an actual game. Beautiful firecracker. Oh, well, he does block it, but still might get some value here. Evo Skellies are doing absolute work here. Yeah, guys, Evo Skellies are so much better than Evo Ice Spirit right now. Evo Ice Spirit's really not that much better than a normal Ice Spirit. It's only two... It's only like... Yeah, it's only 2 frost bites or whatever. So it's really not that much. I'll Goblin-stein here. Gotta get an Ice Spirit off. Honestly, should be a nice Goblin-stein. We counter the wall breakers too. Against the Evo wall breakers, you always have to either go for a cannon or you want to Ice Spirit and then log. Sometimes I see people go for a log first, but if you Ice Spirit first and then log after, the log will also kill the secondary form of the evolved wall breakers instead of only the first form. And it doesn't even kill the first form fully, just mostly does. Hog does get on the tower. Okay, great damage. We're actually coming back quite a bit right now. Yo, what is he doing? He just let the firecracker hit his tower. Okay, we're actually winning somehow. Despite the terrible start, if we can win from this position, or from this start we just had, that would be pretty crazy. Since he wasted the poison and stuff, I'm actually just going to go for a Stein right here. The Stein is really nice because it kind of forces out their cannon usually, and then if they waste the cannon, they can't really stop the Hog. Our Hog might be a little bit hard for him to stop here. It should at least get one hit, I'm hoping for anyways. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. We just need a little bit more damage, maybe like one more Hog hit, maybe a little bit of Earthquake Cycle as well, of course. Evo Firecracker is pretty solid here, still doing some great work despite the nerfs it's gotten. It has gotten quite a few nerfs, but I find it to be pretty solid still. Really helps you get more chip damage, I feel like, with this deck. Wow, there is no way that Firecracker just connected and that Hog just got a hit. Wow. That is a crazy comeback. Okay, we're up against a gun. No guns are allowed here, though. I'm just gonna Hog first play. This guy is Chef, so we can pretty much automatically assume it's gonna be some sort of beatdown deck. This actually kind of looks like RG, or it maybe could be a Pekka deck. I don't know, I feel like most Pekka decks these days are just Pekka Goblin Giant, but there is a popular Pekka Ramrider deck, too. Yeah, I think this might actually be Pekka Ramrider, by the looks of it. I'll cycle the Firecracker, a little bit aggressive here, but I think I'll be fine. I'll probably be able to get away with it. Yeah, Pekka Ramrider for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna assume he probably has Electro Dragon. This matchup does get pretty interesting. The main issue with it is just the fact that Evo E-Drag can be kind of unkillable at times. I mean, Firecrackers can kind of deal with it, Goblin-stein abilities too, but if they kind of mess up your Goblin-stein with a Tornado, they can ruin your ability and just have it die right away. Also, Firecrackers can be killed with, you know, like the Ramrider damage or a Tornado as well. I'm going to cannon up high here and get my log off too. A little bit of an aggressive Firecracker. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend all of you guys to play like this, being so aggressive with my Firecrackers, but if you're experienced, you can, and you get some good value out of it. Also, guys, Evo Skellies do always connect against Chef if the King Tower is not up, since Chef shoots a bit slower than the Princess Tower. So that is something to be aware of. This Ghost will pretty much die. I'm going to go for the Ice Spirit. You know, I could have played my Ice Spirit before my cannon died, I guess. So that will be one hit. Yeah, I could have avoided that. Doesn't matter too much. I'd most likely rather go opposite lane in this type of matchup in most cases. But since we have so much damage here, I might as well just stick to the right side. This guy probably has no big spell either, so he's not going to get that much value. Once in a while, they will have Lightning, though, so you have to watch out for that. Sometimes they have Tornado Rage, other times they have Arrows Rage or Lightning Rage. You have to be ready for anything. That's the one annoying thing sometimes, is that some of these meta decks you just can't tell what spells they have because they constantly switch between variations, so you don't always know how to play from the bat, or from the get-go, until you figure out exactly what they're running. He can't really kill my Evo Firecracker right now without the Tornado and Cycle. We can Stein here just to force out something and make sure that our Firecracker will destroy this Pekka really easily. I'll go for the cannon right here. We could go for this, get an Ice Spirit off. Ramrider does charge on the cannon, but I don't think it really matters too much. Pekka is basically already dead. Yeah, this is perfect, man. The Firecracker spam is so toxic. I know why people hate Firecracker, man. The thing about Firecracker, guys, is that it's so hard to kill it sometimes if you don't have the right spells. I feel like everyone has arrows for it, though, but It's a card that, like, mid-ladder players don't really know how to play against, because mid-ladder players are so used to, like, spamming everything at the bridge, or, like, spamming everything into a huge push. They don't know how to, like, separate their pushes up. They don't know how to, sometimes just, like, avoid feeding that Firecracker, I feel like. So I think that's really the reason why mid-ladder players are always so annoyed by Firecracker. I mean, everyone is annoyed by it sometimes, but I feel like especially them compared to top ladder players. Top ladder players hate on it sometimes, but not nearly as much as players in mid-ladder, I feel like. Beautiful hog hit right there. From here on out, we could pretty much just try to Earthquake Cycle. Obviously, I'll keep on trying to play my Hog Riders and stuff, but I assume we'll just most likely get some Hog damage or just Earthquakes. Firecracker actually does have a chance to hit here. It does reach the tower. That is amazing damage, man. That's why I love Evo Firecracker. Let's go. Wow, that's already towered down. Oh man, it's a bee. I got stung by a bee a few times when I was little. I think I was like semi-allergic to it or something like that, so it made me swell up quite a bit. This guy's a Cycle player. He's actually normally in my clan, but he's in an enemy clan right now, so we're gonna have to probably teach him a lesson to not leave the clan. I'm gonna go for the Earthquake here. I know this guy plays Cycle. Oh, he missed the cannon! I think he thought the recruit would push it or something like that. This 100% is going to be Royal Hog's Earthquake. Royal Hog's Earthquake is a little bit of a difficult matchup. They have advantage really just because piggies are a lot harder to stop compared to a simple Hog Rider, I feel like. You know, Hog Rider is just like one thing, but piggies are just quadruple the terror, so yeah. The main thing about this matchup is really just going for those cannons up high, then pushing the piggies opposite lane using Ice Spirit or Skeletons to make sure they can't get tower value with their Earthquake. He will get his king up right here, but maybe Hog will get us a hit. Or maybe not. But we're still up a lot of damage regardless, so that's definitely great. I feel like once you get momentum in this matchup, you definitely have a good chance. But if you don't get momentum, and they get momentum, it can be pretty difficult. Guys, the number one thing about this matchup is almost never play your Goblin Stein on offense. Unless they have just like a terrible cycle of some kind. Because if you play it when they have their Queen in cycle, all they have to do is go for a Queen in the middle, then play the ability. And then they already get another ability by the time the Queen crosses the bridge. And then you have no Goblin Stein to defend that Queen. So you just pretty much lose the game. So yeah, just be aware of that, of course. And also sometimes one play I do when I'm playing this deck is sometimes if I know they're going to high cannon and use like Skeletons or an Ice Spirit, sometimes I will predict that high cannon with an Earthquake, just not even hitting the tower, simply to just take out that cannon and not actually to get any tower damage with the Earthquake, specifically. Hopefully the Queen dies here. Okay, nice, I thought that might get one hit. We could go in for the Hog Rider here last second, and an Earthquake should take out any cannon he plays. Hog might get a hit if we're lucky. Okay, not quite. I'll go for the cannon up high this time. Yeah, I mean, that one piggy's not going to do that much damage, even if you don't have the card in cycle to push a set of piggies opposite lane. Still 3 of them will go for the cannon, so that's usually good enough, and better than getting your cannon hit by the Earthquake. We're going to have to be careful for sure right here, because when he has this, when he has his cannon up high, it's just going to make us have to play our cannon low into his Earthquakes, which is not the best. Also, guys, I saw someone in a YouTube video a while ago saying how there's one Earthquake placement that can counter any building placement or any normal building placement that is like a cannon, for example, but there is no Earthquake placement like that. If you play your cannon like in the very, like for example, I played my cannon as high as I possibly could, but touching the right side of the map, an Earthquake could not hit that in the typical Earthquake position, so be aware of that if you're facing a cannon deck or really any other building deck. Not that many people even know about it, except I would say mostly top ladder, but it's a good thing to just keep in mind. Man, I don't know how, but this man just got so much damage out of nowhere. Man, piggies are like that. Okay, I mean, I feel like I'll just let the Firecracker die, get a Goblin sign off, get our 3-card cycle going. Gonna have to go for a late cannon right here. Hopefully he doesn't Earthquake too quickly. Ooh, he's probably gonna just Earthquake the Firecracker now. Yeah, it hit the log. Okay, we have to get a Hog here and hopefully get a little bit of damage, maybe. I'm gonna Earthquake on the Archer Queen here, get a log off as well. Yo, Hog might get a hit. Hog might get a hit. Nice! Nice, we hit the Evo Skeletons right there. I'm gonna Firecracker, get these Skellies off. Beautiful prediction on his Ice Spirit there. Queen should probably die right here. Dude, that prediction was insane, guys. On his Ice Spirit to block that Queen from my Firecracker shot. Little things like that are really what can win you these types of games. Okay, I'm gonna go for a Hog right here. Get the Earthquake off again. He's gonna maybe even have to delivery to kill our Firecracker. Oh, he just misses another cannon right there, so we get a very easy win. We're up against May the 4th. Wait, isn't this a Star Wars reference? May the 4th be with you, or something like that. I don't even know. I heard about that a while ago. Minor bats. I think this might be Mortar here, guys, since he has the Cannoneer Tower as well. Most Mortar players do run Cannoneer these days, but there are still a few out there who run Princess Tower. Firecracker does survive somehow. What the heck? How did that survive? I'll let this die right here instead of protecting it, just so he doesn't get his king up, most likely. Oh, he actually still does, unfortunately. Sometimes it is better to let your Firecracker die, though, on purpose, guys. One of the big things about Hog EQ that I see is that oftentimes people will try to overprotect their Firecracker. Like, say you play it against a Knight. Sometimes they like play the Skeletons or Ice Spirit to save the Firecracker, but a lot of the time for me, I just let it die. That way they don't get their king up off of it. It's going to be really hard to get damage in this matchup, unless we outcycle him, because when they have Cannoneer, I mean, even if they have Princess Tower, if they have their king up too, and you Earthquake a Mortar, you don't get any damage. People always say Earthquake is such a hard counter to Mortar, but I feel like it's really not that hard of a counter. I mean, honestly, some people even think that Mortar counters Hog EQ. I feel like it can go either way in this matchup. I think one of the main things is that Goblin Stein can really save Hog Rider. I think it is our matchup, but it's definitely losable, for sure. Because he has arrows for the Firecracker, you know, he has most of the stuff he needs. He actually doesn't have the Goblin Stein, he has Skelly King. I don't know if this is really true or not, but sometimes I actually feel like Skelly King is genuinely more annoying than Goblin Stein. It's just so spammy, they get like these huge pushes off with the Skelly King. Also sometimes double lane pushes too. Not the best start ever, but we're chilling overall, so yeah, I'll take this. A little bit of damage on both sides here as well. I always love to go opposite lane in this matchup, so I'm going to mostly try to go on the probably right side at this point. Yeah, I'll just hog right here. Not really expecting to get much damage out of anything I play, but eventually we'll probably find him in a bad spot where he gets just no Mortar in cycle or something like that. Now that it's double Elixir, we can kind of afford to make more predictions, because in single Elixir, sometimes they'll go for like a gang or something on your hog, and you can't really afford to predict it, because if you miss the prediction, you lose the game. But yeah, now that it's double Elixir, we'll have a much better chance to do some cool stuff, I think. We'll see what he does. Okay, dude, this guy's so predictable, guys. Guys, sometimes it's so annoying because I'm facing a player who's so predictable. Like any normal person would just think, like, not to play that gang because it was so predictable to do that 10 times in a row, but sometimes people still just do it. Sometimes they can be so predictable that it's hard to predict, actually. Okay, beautiful Ice Spirit. Nice, the Evo Bats do die. Nice, okay, I was kind of scared there for a second. Evo Bats are probably the hardest part about this matchup. They just always come to get you when you're not expecting it. That's a lot of damage for him. I don't like our spot too much right here. You kind of ideally want to be up at least a little bit of damage at this point, but I don't know, man. There's not too much we can actually do to help it. Okay, he tried to predict it. He tried to predict our cannon. You do have to make sure you kind of switch up your defenses to the Mortar somewhat often. That way they can't you know, block it that easily with something. Ooh, he does get the ability off, but Evo Skeletons are just doing absolute work here, man. What a crazy set of Evo Skeletons. Oh, my Ice Spirit did not connect right there. I'm going to hog to tank the Ice Mage. These Skeleton Dragons are also being a little bit annoying for us right here, unfortunately. Not loving this so far. Hopefully Firecracker kills these bats. Nice. Okay, beautiful Firecracker. We still have a chance, but not the best one. Wait, this guy actually has no cannon cart. That's why he has Skeleton Dragons in this deck as well. It's a little bit easier if they don't have Skelly Drags, I feel like. Okay, Stein is going to get some great damage here with the ability and everything. Okay, we're definitely back in the game right now. Cannon does get directly on the Mortar. I'm just going to hog to tank right here, get my Ice Spirit for these bats. Dude, again, the Goblin Gang, man. We do get a hit this time. He missed the arrows. Nice. Dude, this guy's genuinely so predictable that I just like, don't know whether to try to predict him or not. Because I feel like right when I try to predict him, he's going to just make a completely different sequence of plays. You know, luckily Firecracker does always one-shot the Evo Bats, even if they're fully healed up. It will still one-shot them. He missed another set of arrows again. What the heck? This guy may be hard to predict, but he's not hard to get a good spot against, I guess, or something, because he keeps on missing his arrows over and over. Man, this guy's a silly goose. Oh, wait, hold up. The 3-card cycle they can get with the Skelly King sometimes can mess you up a little bit. Nah, but I think we're chilling, though. Evo's Skellies are just clutching up constantly. Gonna Earthquake. We need a little bit of Earthquake damage. Gonna get my Stein down. Oh, hold up, the Evo Bats. Let's get our Firecracker down right here. I think we should get him, though. Got an Earthquake off on offense, and that is game over. We're up against Husei. I'm just gonna go for my Hog Rider right here. He has the Rage. Rage is a pretty interesting card. I feel like it could deserve a small nerf. It seems like no matter what the meta is, Rage always synergizes so well with the best win conditions. Also, man, that Hog just... I don't know what happened. Just got, like, bodied somehow. But anyways, guys, yeah, Rage is actually really good with pretty much all the top win conditions, I feel like. It's always good with Ramn, with Goblin Giant, just with whatever is popular, I feel like. Okay, this guy is Elixir Golem 100%. Elixir Golem used to be a pretty nice matchup, I feel like, but these days they always have arrows 100% of the time. There's so much arrows in this meta, that's really the only annoying thing for Hog EQ, but luckily we're still able to kind of play around it. Okay, I know he's going to go for Skellies here, so I'll prediction log. We do hit that, so he has like nothing, I think, to kill that. Oh, I kind of messed up the Ice Spirit. Doesn't matter too much, though. Look at that Hog damage. Nice, let's go. Well, yeah, guys, Elixir Golem is... You play obviously similar to most of the other beatdown matchups, but you just have to focus even more so on your Firecracker than normal. Like, you normally spam it a lot, but against Elixir Golem, spam just like you do against Golem and Lava Hound, except 10 times more, because if you don't have a Firecracker down for those big E-Golem pushes, you are absolutely dead. And the other annoying thing here is that he has Lightning, so our Goblinstein can get killed pretty easily. They used to have Pump in the deck, but they just put Lightning to counter Goblinstein. Because Goblinstein ability is so broken against the E-Golem pushes, and the split lane E-Golem pushes especially, but if they Lightning, it's kind of just bad for you. Ooh, pretty aggressive Elixir Golem. I'm going to Ice Spirit up high. These bats are kind of going to mess us up. I think Evo Skellies will just die. He still wasted the Rage right there. Evo Firecracker is doing absolute work here. So much Elixir back for us right here. I could Hog right now, but I'll just play it a bit safe. I know I could take his tower right now, but I'm just going to be a little bit more chill just to make sure things go well. We definitely have his right side tower down. Yeah, I will go for the Hog here. A little bit aggressive, but I think it should work out. You know, guys, sometimes when you face an E-Golem deck, if they E-Golem first play, just go for a Firecracker. Sometimes you don't even want a Hog opposite lane. Sometimes you can, but not all the time, because you sometimes just want to prefer to be careful. Because if you Hog opposite lane, you could actually lose the game from that. Also, man, that was... I don't know, was that a good cannon? I would say yes, honestly. Kind of messing up his push a little bit right here. Beautiful Stein ability. I'll get a Firecracker off here. We're going to have our 3-card cycle going from our Doctor, so we're going to get even more Firecrackers pretty soon, I think. Beautiful Firecracker shot. He does get the arrows off, but I think we're chilling. We do get our King up somehow out of all of that. Man, I can't believe we just got our King up out of all of that. Alright, well, that's game over. I'll see you guys in the next match. Oh man, this will be a good one. We're up against this guy who's considered to be the #1 RG player in the game, according to a lot of people. I think he's definitely one of the best RG players at the moment. He's going to get his King up right here, but I don't really try that hard to avoid giving them the King activation off the Hog Rider, because I know they're going to get it eventually either way, but obviously if you can try to stall it out, that's always a great thing. Also, it is important to note that when your opponent has Cannoneer, they actually can't get their King up off a Hog Rider, because the Hog just dies before it connects to the King Tower. Unless the Fisherman change somehow messed that up, but I'm pretty sure the Hog will still die. So he has Fireball here. That's very important to know, because one of the main things you want to identify first in this matchup is what spells does your opponent have. You want to see if they have like Log, Bar Barrel, Rage, and also their big spell if they have Fireball or Lightning. So Fireball, it's going to make it so he can kill our Firecrackers a lot easier, but he's going to struggle a little bit more to kill our Goblinstein and our Cannon as well, so I think Fireball actually is not bad for us here. We get some very nice Hog damage. Whenever you have a Goblinstein counter-pushing, it's always good to go for the Hog, because Fishermen simply cannot deal with 2 building targeting units at the same time. It can only stop one at a time, so you basically are guaranteed damage. This guy actually might not have Ghost right here. If they have Ghost, you can get punished really easily, so since he has no Ghost, we're probably going to be able to be a bit more aggressive here than you normally might want to be if they do have Ghost. Dude, that Hog interaction keeps happening, man. That is so dumb. It happens with other cards, too, against Fishermen. I guess the slowness effect change somehow messed up those interactions. I don't know why that happens now, if it's a glitch or something. Okay, so since he has Fireball, we have to be a little bit careful about giving him too much value on our Stein and Firecracker and stuff. So I'll just go for it kind of up high here in the middle, making sure he also cannot hit our tower either. I don't even think we have to go for the cannon right here. Yeah, we can just play our Evo Skeletons, and that should counter all of that. Yeah, this is perfect. And I think Hog will still get a hit even past this Fisherman here. Yeah, beautiful hit on the tower. But yeah, guys, like I was saying earlier, if your opponent does have Ghost, you do want to play a bit more passive in this matchup. Because the Ghost can be really hard to counter for this deck. Sometimes, if you waste your Goblinstein, you literally have nothing except Skeletons to counter a Ghost. But if they predict it with like an E-Spirit or Log or something, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. Also, if they do have Rage with the RG, you have to be a lot more careful too, because Raged up RG is actually very broken against cannon, because they clip the cannon, making the RG two-shot it, and then obviously the RG just starts moving really quick and stuff, shooting quick too. We could go for a Hog right here. The Ice Spirit's going to tank for a bit, so if he goes for a Fisherman or something, it's going to get wrecked. We should still get a Hog hit here because the Doctor's tanking the left side. Oh, well, he played the Log and stuff, but that's fine. He spent a lot of Elixir right there just to counter that. He just going for that Fireball. We could just try to maybe get a Firecracker up again in a second right here. You guys can see these Firecrackers are the most pesky part of the matchup for him. He's just not really able to get much control on the field, which he kind of needs. If they get field control, they can sometimes do a lot against you, but if you have a good start, you just defend well after. You're probably going to be feeling pretty good. Pretty nice ability right here, killing the skeletons, killing the RG just about. Hog almost got another hit right there somehow. Okay, yeah, these pesky Firecrackers he just cannot keep up with. His cycle just isn't fast enough. He can't get the fireballs down on every single Firecracker. Or sometimes he just doesn't have the Elixir, really. Hog may get a hit. Okay, without that E-Spirit, that would have been a hit right there somehow. Hopefully Fisherman can die to our Firecracker, maybe. Okay, Hog is on the tower. I think we just go for the Earthquake here. Oh, the Firecracker missed the tower completely. Oh no, it shot at the skeleton. I was going to shoot at one of the skeletons, but then it just died right away. Oh no. Gotta go for the Evo Skellies right here. I think we should be fine, though. Yeah, he's in Earthquake range. Let's go. Very, very easy win against Royal Giant. We're up against Aimer. I'm just going to go for my Hog Rider first play. I don't know why, but genuinely the majority of my matches I just get Hog in my starting hand. I love it, though. Love to go for it first play. This guy does have the Tornado. Not a crazy amount of decks these days have Tornado. I feel like the reason why is just because Fisherman is used so much and you don't really need both of them in a single deck. So, I mean, Barbell and Tornado could really be any sort of heavy deck, I guess. Okay, it could be, like, what? Balloon or Electro Giant, I think. Okay, either one of those two is what it's going to be right here. We just have to see what it is. Okay, yeah, it's going to be Balloon here. Balloon freeze, I'm certain. I'll go for the Cannon here. It's fine to cycle a Cannon because even if he does get a Balloon off... Yeah, he does get the Balloon off, but we have the Goblin Steins, so I think we'll be okay. Man, this Balloon better not connect here. Oh, I feel like it's going to. I wonder if Ice Spirit would have been enough. I don't know. Okay, honestly, that cannon there kind of messed us up, but if I played my Goblin Stein instead against that Bowler and stuff, I feel like that wouldn't have done any better, so it's all good. Not the greatest start, but yeah, maybe I could have played the Ice Spirit there instead of the ability. I don't even know, though. Just gonna go for the Firecracker here. We could try to go for the Hog Ice Spirit trick, guys. Sometimes this will kind of like mess up their Tornado timing. I already said about it a little bit earlier, but basically the Ice Spirit will kind of jump, pushing the Hog Rider, making it take a bit longer to get to the tower, and sometimes it causes them to miss their Tornado if they don't know about that trick. And a lot of people don't know about it, especially if they're not a top player. They probably have no idea about it. I'm gonna Evo Firecracker here. Honestly, I might be a little bit dead right now. I don't have anything for that Balloon. I'm gonna go for an Ice Spirit here. You know, I wonder if I could have avoided one hit there. I don't know. Anyways, we're looking decent, though. I mean, we're not up in damage, which you want to be in this matchup at this point, but we have good damage on both sides, so that's a good thing. So we can go either lane, because we kind of have to go opposite lane here. If we go same lane, he's just going to spam bowlers and spam these troops that we can't really kill until they cross the bridge. But man, Firecracker is absolutely busted in this matchup. The Firecracker is just not going to die. Unless he goes for the NATO onto it, but then he can't really counter our Hog Rider that easily. Nice, Hog is on the tower. We force out the defensive freeze, which is great. This Evo Knight could be a bit of a nuisance to deal with. We do make him NATO the Firecracker. That's not bad. Let's ability here. Okay, I think we're okay. Yeah, we're actually okay. And he has his Evo E-Drag out of Cycle now, which is good because Evo E-Drag is one of the more annoying cards in this matchup, I would say. I'm going to go for the Firecracker in the back. We have to make sure we just get a lot of Firecrackers down right now because he's probably going to make a huge push here. We're going to get back to our Firecracker pretty quickly since we cycled some cards with our Goblin Stein down. Ooh, that E-Drag needs to die. Okay, it does, perfect. I'll go for the cannon right here. It's not going to activate our King Tower, but that's a dead balloon nonetheless. We force out the Barbell. Barbell is actually pretty good against the Firecracker, but it only works if our Firecracker is played kind of higher up or if it wanders higher up. We could go for the Earthquake here. Let's get some Evo Skellies kind of bridging, or bridge blocking that night or whatever. Not really, but we tried. Okay, this cannon will kill the Barb. I think Balloon is pretty much dead here. He could freeze, but if you space out your stuff properly, you're not really in too much trouble, guys. I mean, there's not a crazy amount to say about this matchup. All you do is spam Firecracker. You get Hog Riders at good times. You sometimes Goblin Stun if they make a huge push like Bowler, Inferno Dragon, E-Dragon stuff. You don't need to play too many stuns in this matchup, though, to be honest. Once in a while on offense, it can be good, too, though. And yeah, obviously just like spacing out your stuff, making sure they can't freeze the tower and the Firecracker is obviously a huge thing. We could just go for the Earthquake here, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. We're up against a Coconut, or maybe the Coco Melon Kids, not really sure which one. Just gonna cycle my log right here. He has the Barbarian Barrel. Barbarian Barrel, it probably means some sort of Tornado deck. I feel like whenever a deck has the Barbarian Barrel, it's pretty much always Tornado. Maybe gonna be, I don't even know exactly. Some sort of beatdown. He has the Baby Dragon. I mean, it looks like Splash Yard, but it's probably not. Oh, you know, it's probably E-Giant. It's probably E-Giant. E-Giant's actually pretty good with Baby Dragon now, after the buff it got. Baby Dragon really isn't a bad card. It is quite an annoying card, especially in stuff like Splash Yard, I feel like. You have to be so careful now to not let it get snippets on your tower. Yeah, it's 100% E-Giant. Well, E-Giant's normally not really that hard at all. I mean, some variations can be a little bit tough, like when they have Bowler, Goblin Cage, and stuff like that, but Cannon really won't be that hard to deal with, I think. Just gonna Ice Spirit here. I think we can be fine. We just go for the log. You do have to be a little bit careful of the Dark Prince because it got that bit of a charge buff. But yeah, you have multiple ways to play things. Usually, against the Electro Giant, I'll just like pressure or something like that. Or sometimes I'll cycle my cannon first when they E-Giant the back, then I'll pressure with the Hog. And then if they lightning the first cannon, I just get a second one. Cannon is so cheap that they just really can't get any good trade out of it, because if they lightning the first, you're always so easily able to get a second one down because of how cheap it costs and just the cycle of this deck. Really good Hog damage right there. Also, Firecracker is really pesky for them as well, because all they can do is either waste a Tornado, so then they can't counter your Hog that well, or waste a Lightning like this, but then now he can't really get through our cannon right here. That is a level 13 E-Giant when our cards are level 11, but I think it should still just about die here. Maybe it will get a tad bit of damage. Yeah, okay, it might get a just like one tick or something like that. Yeah, okay, that's not bad at all. So he wasted most of his stuff. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he wasted most of his opportunity already. I mean, not really his fault. It's just an easy matchup, in my opinion. But yeah, you know, you just have to abuse the Firecrackers. That's really the key to it. Like, even if they have Bowler and Cage and stuff like that, if you play your Firecrackers really good, you still have a pretty good chance to get through just by, yeah, spamming those Firecrackers and just putting them in awkward cycles. It's not that the Firecrackers themselves get that much damage, it's just that you force them to play cards they don't want to play, so you get good trades, then eventually your Hogs will maybe break through and get to the tower. We could just go for a Goblin Stein here. Baby Dragon is not on our cannon, okay, but everything is dead. That E-Giant shouldn't get too much damage. I'm going to go for a log to be safe. He's actually catching up a little bit, but we're looking so good so far. Just going to pre-Earthquake for a cannon as well. Nice, beautiful. This might already be game over, or at least very close to it. Nice, Hog is on the tower, let's go! Easy win. Oh, it's this guy. I know he's playing Hog Giant Skeleton. He always plays this very strange variation. It's pretty off-meta, but I'll still try to show you guys how to win in the Hog mirror matchups. I mean, I could kind of just try to explain stuff to you guys a little bit, so... I mean, say you're facing like something like 2.6, really... What your whole goal is just to not get wrecked in single Elixir, pretty much. If you're facing 2.6, basically, just make sure you always have your cannon in cycle. You can do that either by sometimes countering the Hogs early on with like Ice Spirit, Firecracker, Skeletons, maybe like a log in there too or something, if you don't want to get outcycled, or sometimes you can just use that 3-card cycle of the Goblin Stein to not get outcycled, and then from there, pretty much later in the game, you just Hog Earthquake all game and you basically win. You could sometimes get Hog Earthquakes in single Elixir, but do be a bit careful about overcommitting with Hog EQs against 2.6. And in the Hog EQ mirror matchup, I mean, there's nothing too special about it. Really, all you do is you just focus on those tiny interactions, and then you pretty much just end up overwhelming your opponent if you do enough of those tiny interactions that kind of add up over time. And so, like, a lot of things that I would do is, for example, I'll try to be the first one to get my King Tower up. You want to, you know, just not give them the King Tower up early, because that will give you a big advantage in the mirror matchup. You always want to make sure you go for like those high cannons, pushing the Hog to the opposite lane using Ice Spirit or Skeletons. Kind of similar to how you play the Royal Hogs Earthquake matchup. And sometimes there are just some unpredictable plays you can do. Like, for example, if your opponent has like a Firecracker that's coming down the field, you can just go for your own Firecracker at the bridge to splash their Firecracker and kill it, and also hit their tower. The reason why that play is actually quite good is because nobody expects it, even though, you know, you kill your Firecracker and, you know, you kill theirs. It's just like an even trade, but you get free tower damage, so it's actually a pretty nice play to do. Evo Skellies will cook here a little bit. Okay, well, guess they died, but we could just Earthquake here. I mean, we're going to take a Firecracker hit and a Hog hit probably, but that's not the end of the world. This guy also has the random minion horde in his deck. I'm not really sure why, because it just does not seem good this meta with all the arrows going around. But I guess he has some arrows bait with the Firecracker. I'm going to pre-Firecracker right here. We do predict the Evo Barbs. That's not too bad for us. You know, I think we can actually maybe get something going here on the right side. We'll see, though. Actually, you know, I think I'll just ability right here. Yeah. Firecracker does get a big hit on the tower. That's very good. He can't really hog here, otherwise it will just get wrecked right away. We could also go for an Ice Spirit with this. Okay, the guards might die here. Yeah, they do basically die, and I think it's game over for this guy. Nothing too much to say about this one, just pretty easy win, pretty smart cycling of our cards, usage of our Evos and stuff like that, and that's good game. Apparently this is live on Twitch right now. Just gonna play my Ice Tiny at the bridge right here. What does he have? He has Ice Tiny as well, and the Log. Okay, well, has to be some sort of cycle deck. There's actually not a crazy amount of cycle going around, to be honest. I mean, there's like pigs, there's some Hog Earthquake, but not too much else. Besides that, it's mostly just Goblin Giant and that kind of thing. Wait, he has Fireball too. Guys, the only deck that has cycle cards and Fireball is probably Xbow. Okay, this is 100% Xbow. I don't know if people really want to know how to beat Xbow with Hog EQ, because most people just assume Hog EQ counters Xbow, but believe it or not, that's not really true. I mean, let me explain. So, I think a lot of people in mid-ladder especially will disagree with me, but I think Xbow actually counters Hog EQ if you don't have Goblin Stand. Like, if I had Knight in this deck, Hog EQ I think would actually get countered by Xbow. If I had Mighty Miner, it would kind of be either player's match, but maybe even slightly for Xbow still. And let me explain to you guys why. So people are like, oh, you know, you have Earthquake, they have Xbow, so you're dead, right? The Xbow player's dead, right? But no, all they have to do is just essentially cycle their cards over and over again, keep up with your cycle to get their Teslas down whenever you have a Hog Rider, then just Fireball cycle, and Fireball does quite a bit more damage than Earthquake. So that's really the story of the game usually. This guy does have Archer Queen instead of Archers. I'm not sure if that's really going to make it much better or worse. I mean, I guess it might be a little bit better to see the Archer Queen, because the Evo Archers are actually so pesky, but Archer Queen, of course, will give him the 3-card cycle. But yeah, I think this is a little bit nicer to deal with, maybe. Beautiful Firecracker shot right there. We can just go for the cannon here. He can't really defend it and defend the push on the right. That was honestly a terrible Xbow. I don't know what this guy's doing. Amazing damage so far. A lot of Xbow players just don't realize when is a good time and when is a bad time to go in. Perfect start right here. But anyways, guys, to finish my point from earlier, yeah, so I think Xbow actually does have a good matchup against Hog EQ, but since we have Goblinstein, I think we have a good matchup. It's really only the Goblinstein that allows us to have a good matchup here, because I mean, yeah, otherwise we would just get Fireball cycled, but luckily Goblinstein, you get some extra pressure with it and stuff like that. Also a really good Xbow counter, so that's why Goblinstein kind of changes that from being really good for Xbow to being good for Hog. But it's not like crazy good, but it is good, but it's not like crazy good. So make sure you play well, otherwise a good Xbow player could surprise you and end up catching you off guard and beating you. Oh, I think our Firecracker is dead here. Oh, it's not. Nice, beautiful. Let's go. Gonna go for the prediction Earthquake for a Tesla. Nice, we do catch the low Tesla. Kind of expected that. We could just Stein on the Xbow. I don't know why he keeps on going for these random Xbows. We get a Hog hit and a Firecracker hit there. Also, guys, do be careful, because sometimes when you go for a Stein, they're just gonna Fireball log it. Beautiful Ice Spirit avoiding the log right there. Yeah, there's nothing too much to this matchup. I mean, you just cycle Hogs, really. You keep up with their cycle. Sometimes if they have no Tesla in cycle, you can pressure with the Stein. Obviously, it kind of depends what their cycle is, or like how much Elixir they have, because if they have a Queen at the ready, it's not really a smart play. But yeah, there's nothing special to this matchup. It's really just the same as how you play against most of the other cycle decks, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I mean, you could see it's pretty chill right here. Once you get a small damage lead, you're looking really good. You just do want to make sure you have a good damage lead going into the later game. Or at least you want to try to get a good damage lead, because if you don't get a good damage lead, then they can just start to Fireball cycle you and not even play their Xbows very much at all. We can just Earthquake here, then I believe Log will just take it. Yeah, Log will just take it right here. Okay, well, that's the end of the guide. Thank you all so much for watching, and make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed. Bye!